Today's headline is Thrilling Incident in a Coal Mine. The subheadline says, 4 men in prison for a week. Wonderful fidelity of a dog. It says, during the severe rainstorm of Friday night, the 21st, the stream of water that runs by the entrance of the Mahoning coal mine in Hubbard Township overflowed its banks and poured a deluge down one of the slopes by which the mine is entered. 4 men were at work in the mine at the time: John Turrell, Thomas Bowen, Jacob Miller, and Thomas Miller. The slope where the water entered is the lowest place in the mine, so when they were apprised of danger, the avenue of escape was cut off. It was near midnight when the state of affairs was discovered on the surface. The alarm was given, the flow of water into the mine was stopped, and the pumps were got to work. It was found that an immense volume of water had already poured down the slope, but from the fact that 2 of the men were known to be in the highest part of the mine, it was hoped that they were still alive. On Saturday, the work was begun of drilling a hole through the rock, a distance of 56 feet, to the place where Turrell and Bowen were supposed to be. Great crowds of anxious people congregated from the neighboring country. On Sunday noon, the shaft reached the interior of the mine, but there were no signs of the men until Monday, when a voice called up the shaft, "Who's there?" It was found that Bowen and Turrell were alive, but knew nothing of their 2 comrades. Conversation could be easily carried on with them, and pieces of food and small bottles of brandy were lowered through the narrow aperture. They stated that as soon as they saw the flood coming in, they endeavored to join their companions, but were unable to do so, the water coming up to their necks in that part of the mine. They heard distinctly the sound of the drilling on Saturday, and mined through a column to reach the place where the drill came through. Such quantities of water came through the drill hole that they crocked it up, fearing that it would drown them. But on Monday, the flow of the water ceasing, they made themselves known. A gentleman who left the mine on Tuesday evening informs us that the water was lowering very rapidly, and that it was expected that an entrance could be effected on Wednesday. There was no news of the 2 miners. The drill hole sunk on Tuesday to reach them, struck a pillar, and therefore was of no use. This portion of the article originally came from the Mahoning Register of Ohio. The Cleveland Leader gives the following additional particulars. It will be observed that when the above was written, none of the men were rescued, and locality of 2 was unknown. It seems that after Turrell and Bowen were rescued on Wednesday night, a boat was rowed into the mine in search of the 2 Millers. They were both insensible from hunger and cold, and were lying in an excavation above the reach of the water. They would not have been discovered in the dense darkness had it not been for a faithful dog, who kept watch over them, and who, we are informed, seized hold of the coat of one of the men in the boat, thus drawing his attention to his master. This dog had also saved the lives of his charge by keeping off a horde of rats, which had been driven by the rising water to that part of the mine, and which, being ravenous with hunger, would have devoured the 2 men as they lay insensible, had it not been for the faithful care of their guardian. This story came from the great state of Pennsylvania, being reported in the Jeffersonian of September 7th, 1865. Thank you for joining us today. If you want to continue to uncover all of America's lost and forgotten history, then remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.